Hello and welcome back to the Neon Nightcast podcast. This is a weekly podcast where we talk about anything pop culture related: video games, movies, TVs, musics. I am your host, Michael Thrax, and like always, I am joined by Garrett Zagri and Eric Dr. Soybean.
Or as I like to refer to the two of you, the Tattoo and Lawrence to my Mr. Rourke.
Mr. Rourke. I feel like Mr. Rourke has lots of
I
references,
feel
but
like
maybe it's just
I know, like it's on the tip of my tongue what tattoo is from, but
We'll let them
you
figure
have
it out.
tattoos on your body.
no, but like tattoo's like a character from like some some
Anyways,
cop show or
that's for
something.
them to figure out.
Regardless, tonight's episode we're gonna do basically, it's not a top five, but it's sort of a top five list. Basically, this is going to be a ongoing topic. We can just pump out episodes like this where we're just going to talk about five of our favorite whatnots, basically like our previous music episode. So tonight's episode, we're going to talk about five video games, or five each.
Yeah, and again, these are not our top five of all time. These are just five games that we like a lot.
I know. Tonight I'm going to talk about at least two of my favorite games of all time, and I'll let you know what those are. So I was like raising my eyebrows, but they can't see that. So
Well, maybe we need to get video sometime soon.
you know what I was thinking, like 100 episode special, make it like a video one. I think that could be
Yeah,
pretty cool.
We'll see if we can make it to 100 episodes.
Whoa,
Maybe I'll just
100
maybe I'll
episodes is
just
easy.
maybe I'll be the famous one and I'll just branch off on my own while you two are left doing this. And then, I'll be the Jake. I'll be the new Jake Paul or
Oh
something.
God. Oh my God, have a shitty rap video.
Yeah, man. Everyone loves Jake Paul. He's the greatest.
Well, it's every day, bro. It's every
It's
day, bro.
every day, bro.
Anyways,
Anyway,
yeah. Let's have, like always, little bear boy Garrett start us off. What's your first game you want to talk about?
all right. The first game I'm going to talk about is a pretty small title. Not many. I don't know many people that have played it.
Okay.
It's called Borderlands.
Oh,
Uh,
Bor-
that was a joke. Borderlands.
Borderlands.
Yeah, Borderlands.
Huh.
You know the video game. It
I don't
has
think I've heard
like
of it. Go on.
yeah. I
I'm
mean
intrigued.
that's what I was saying. It's pretty small, made by 2K Games. Anyway, so the I've always played Borderlands with this one friend of mine that I met in high school. Like we played through every single Borderlands together, and we haven't actually played the most recent one, the pre-sequel or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
But I've always liked the art style, and Borderlands has always been like kind of wacky and zany with the jokes. And usually I like to play uh, well, games with guns, but they're not shooters as in like multiplayer shooters. You're not shooting PvP style.
Yeah.
Because I suck at those games. I don't try to play those games. I'm terrible at those games. So I play PvE shooters where I can get headshots really easy because I'm playing against computers.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I always like to play a sniper on these games.
The
But anyway, go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say it's kind of like Diablo, where you're just getting loot and like changing out your loot and like dungeon crawling kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of like that. I mean, I've never actually. So I only played it to like the very end of the storyline. I basically played the storyline,
Yeah.
and then me and my friend would basically stop playing it because that's what we played it for.
Yeah.
Is the story. which seems weird because yeah, there's so much more that goes into it. Like I've seen some people streaming whenever like Borderlands 2 was really big. Like they had insane gear. Like they had guns that would regenerate their bullets, so you'd never have to buy bullets.
Yeah.
I just I thought it was insane. Like the amount of like enchants or I don't know what to call them, mods you can have on the weapons is just pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah.
you weren't motivated enough to keep playing to get some of that stuff.
No, not really. One, because I didn't know how. But like on Diablo, I could fucking farm for weeks, and I'll play Diablo for a while and try and get the best gear. But I never felt that way about Borderlands. Basically, just play it for the story.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I never usually play like post game stuff. I know with when the original Borderlands came out, I was super excited for it, and I ended up buying it with one of my roommates, and I got violently sick, and he ended up playing it without me. So like I like returned from my bed or like yeah from my room from like 3 days, and he's like already beat it, and I actually ended up never actually playing Borderlands.
I mean, I don't know. I think Borderlands is a pretty cool game. Like the art style is really different than anything else,
I was
but
gonna
it's definitely best to play with a friend.
you mentioned the goofy art style. This is the game where there's like a chick with huge tits and a white face and like a purple top hat.
Yes, that's Moxie. She's in I think all the games actually.
When you were like when you were first describing her, I was like, that's like literally every game now is just like a chick.
Well, yeah, Moxie. I don't think she's not that important in 1 and 2 that I recall. I haven't played them in a while, but in the pre-sequel, she has I think more of a role.
Mm.
But yeah, Moxie, big boobs, white face, purple top hat. Eric got it right on.
Speaking of Eric, what's your first game?
All right. Well, for my first game, I'm going to take you back in time. Pretend you're in the early 80s.
To play the
You,
shitty games that suck ass.
no, we're not gonna fucking go there. But you're in an arcade. You light a cigarette. You start bobbing your head
Oh
to the
God, fucking
synthesizer music. You walk across the neon mirrored floor, and
Neon.
you see an arcade machine with a giant ass fucked up looking centipede on it with explosions going off all around it, and that's the game
Pac-Man.
Centipede.
I just want to walk away from that one, walk out the doors, go home, and get on my computer.
I was a fetus in the
Well,
80s.
it's 1981, so what are you going to do on the computer, Garrett? Compose some green texted Word documents?
Sure, I mean, I'll just. I
On
mean,
a
I think I'd rather
floppy
do that
disk?
than play fucking Centipede. The
Ah,
fuck
you've
is...
probably never played it.
I
Why,
haven't. Don't want to.
why the hell are you talking about
But
Centipede?
what's great about Centipede is like a lot of the classic arcade games, it's easy to learn but almost impossible to master. It's a relatively simple game. You're a little fucking gnome sitting at the bottom of the screen shooting lasers at a centipede that's coming down towards you through a field of mushrooms. And, as the game goes on, the centipede starts moving faster. Other bugs show up that you have to deal with. And if you want to get really good at the game and start getting high scores, you have to start developing strategies. So,
It's a more complex version of Snake.
No.
not really, no.
Snake is like
Well,
you're controlling the snake and getting bigger. Centipede is like you're trying to like eat away from the snake.
Right.
Now, remember when we went back to that pizza joint where we near where we grew up, and your high score was still number one, and then we had to
Yeah.
jerry rig the machine to a car battery because you
Oh, I
wanted to
thought you were
keep your
being
score.
serious. That was that was Frogger, not Centipede.
I know it was
But
Frogger.
I thought you were talking about that arcade that I used to go to where I was on the high score for Centipede for quite some time. But
Oh wow, I had literally no idea.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's a really fun game, and I think the appealing thing about a lot of those old games is it's if you want to just put in a quarter and play it, you can immediately start playing it. But if you actually want to get good at it, it's going to take a lot of fucking time and a lot of fucking skill because there's very few people that can get beyond 50,000 points in Centipede.
The
Uh,
unappealing thing about games from the 80s is that they're games from the 80s.
what do you mean?
Like bad graphics, you know, not stories, I guess. Like Centipede doesn't really have a story.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, a game to me is not like I can't appreciate a good story in a game, but to me at the end of the day a game is a fucking game. It's not a movie or a TV show. It's a fucking game.
It's a
So
movie that I
my
get to be one of the main characters of.
I don't look at it that way, to be honest with you. When I play games I'm more into things like strategy or hand-eye coordination. uh the storyline, even in games that have them, is always secondary to me. I just want something
Mm.
that's fun and challenging. And Centipede is very challenging to be good at it.
Well, two things. Anytime you said get good, I just imagined you wearing like an obey cap. And secondly, it's funny that you said that about Centipede. Um, the first game I wanted to talk about, it was an indie RPG. I believe it came out 2014. Called Lisa the Painful, and it's a game that the only media it really would work for, or like you would get the correct feel that the creator uh, was going for.
The immersive experience that he intended.
I hate that word, immersive. I hate that. It was a video game because it has actual choices in it, uh, where you either basically you make your strongest character, the main character, weaker, or you lose like all of your items or all of your team members that you've been like
So
leveling
can
up and stuff.
can you make choices not to weaken your main character?
Well, it's either weaken the character or lose your party members or your
I'm
items.
alright with losing my party members.
Well, it's just it's
Ride solo.
but it's just the point. The point was it's because what Eric was talking about, like Centipede. It's just kind of it only would work as a video game. Like you couldn't like watch that and have kind of the same feel. Like I guess you could watch something like that and be like, "Oh my god, he's getting his arm cut off. That's fucked up." But you're not like put with this choice of like,
You're not involved in the
yeah,
continuation of the story.
yeah, and like that's the only way that that story really would you get the full effect is through a video game. It's a really good game. Um, I recommend it to everyone, but no one ever plays anything anyone recommends. So
I don't like because that's like a roguelite, right?
no, it's not a
Oh,
roguelike.
it's not.
It's just a
Is it a
story.
side scroller?
Yeah, it's kind of like a side scroller. It's
I
this
hate
guy
side
I
just
thought
going
you said
through
scrollers
it
and
was an
roguelites.
RPG.
Yeah, it is an RPG, but
Well, it
it's on a
is.
2D plane.
Yeah, and I don't like sides. I don't like games that aren't open world. Honestly, like
Well, in a sense,
You're
it does
limiting
have an
yourself
open
so
world.
much.
Like you're exploring a world. It's not open world like Grand Theft Auto or like The Witcher or something. It's
Eric, you say I'm limiting myself, but you said the most recent video game you ever played was like from the early 2000s.
yeah,
So
No,
don't say
2000,
yeah.
2010s.
yeah, but 2000 okay,
That
but
was
still you're
7 years
limiting
ago.
yourself because like you don't play a lot of the new games that come out.
Well, I don't want to get into this and take away from Lisa, but it's because a lot of them are just open world. Like games don't really have genres anymore. They're all kind of the same in a way.
Not.
I think most games still have a defined genre.
I think you're. Yeah, I
Like
think you're
I don't
just seeing the same types getting put out, but like
Well, maybe that's
there's
what's
like
popular.
25 games released a day on
Oh,
Steam.
I'm aware of that.
Anyways,
Well, I'm not talking about Steam. I'm talking
Lisa's it's just a great game. Like there was a DLC for like a finishing storyline thing. It's like a separate game, whatever. I guess it would be called a sequel. But anyways, like okay, so the ending of the first one kind of brought like a tear to my eye. But the ending of the
Don't lie. You fucking
no,
don't
but
like
the ending of the
game.
second one, like that finishes the entire story. Like I weeped, I went and had a shower and I like cried. I like
Oh,
sobbed.
see.
No, it's just so emotional.
I
It's
mean,
so
I understand. I've had
emotional.
games like get to me like that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so dude, that's
Jesus.
why video games are fucking great.
It's like I
Like
don't
video
want to.
games with a great story
Yeah.
will get you like that. And like those are the best video games
I don't
to
want
me,
to like
my opinion.
really like spoil anything, but the main character of the second game is like the adoptive daughter of the main character of the first game, and she ends up like hating him, and so the end, she's having like a drug trip, and you're like fighting like this, I don't know, version of the guy, the father figure in your mind, and it's just really emotional, like the shit it says while you're like killing him. And I just like he just hates himself so much, and it's just so sad to see.
Crawling in my skin.
Okay, don't. It
My
really
skin.
is. It really is a beautiful experience, but I really highly recommend Lisa the Painful. So let's move on to Garrett, your second.
My second one. I think this was actually literally the very first game I ever bought on Steam. Maybe that's why I have a bias towards it, but it's Darksiders. Um, and Darksiders, you play as one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. You play as War, and basically the story is that heaven and hell have started, fighting each other, but the main character War was called down because he's supposed to bring war to Earth, but he was called down early. Like he's not supposed to be there yet. So he's been like tricked into coming down, which basically um, lets hell because war. Oh, fuck, this is a bad explanation. But anyway, okay, war comes down to Earth early, and he's tricked so that hell has an advantage and basically takes over the Earth. And then heaven's just like getting fucked in the ass at this point because like hell has this huge advantage. All their demons and shit are all over the Earth. And so basically War's mission is to go find the like generals of hell and kill them. Yeah, it's a great game. Like
It's
this was,
it's a beat 'em up, right?
yeah, it's like a hack and slash.
Yeah.
um and yeah, that's what I liked it. It's a fucking hack and slash, and I don't think I'd played too many hack and slashes at this point. And this one, I love the story because it came from like a biblical era. Even though I'm not religious, it's just like it was cool because I was familiar with the story, or at least the basis of the
I think
story.
I think
So
everyone kind of likes the four horsemen of the apocalypse kind of
yeah, I
thing.
mean they just have they're they're seen as bad guys. So like they have this mysterious aura around them. Like,
Yeah.
who are the four horsemen?
No,
Who's the
I
Antichrist?
really think it's cool because like if you look at like the seven sins, it's like greed, gluttony, blah blah blah. But the four horsemen, it's like famine, war,
Death
death,
and plague.
plague. Yeah,
I
and
don't
they're
know.
just
That
like
might have one of those wrong.
Or
what
Or
or they were Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Stan Lane.
all right.
That's for wrestling fans. They'll get that one.
Eric seems so happy about that.
That's a fucking
Uh,
sick name. There,
For
there
what?
was,
For a wrestling stable, the
there
Four
was
Horsemen.
Snoop Dogg came out with the new song like last month, and one of the lines is calling them the Four Horsemen. So
Ooh.
I really
Seems
like
like a
that.
lot of people have
Yeah,
taken
Four
inspiration
Horsemen.
from that.
Yeah.
Four Horsemen make a lot of appearances in pop culture, honestly, just because they're seen as the end. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, Darksiders. They recently actually came out 2016, November 22nd, 2016. They made a remastered edition of the very first game. There was a Darksiders 2, which was released in 2012, where you play as Death. And I didn't play all the way through that one because I I actually got stuck in this one room and I couldn't fucking find a way out of it. So I was just like, all right, fuck this game. I didn't look up a guide. I didn't do any of that shit that I should have. Just
That's
like,
what
fuck
Game
this game.
Facts is for.
I know, but I was like, I wasn't thinking, and I basically just gave up on it. But I really like the second game too. It's just another hack and slash, except you're playing as Death, who is a little bit more agile and quick attack. He has two sights, while War just has a giant fucking claymore that he has
Yeah.
and just beats people with it.
Um, Anytime anyone says 2012, I just think of Connie 2012.
Coney 2012.
Coney 2012. Fuck.
Yep, that was the thing, Mike. Glad you brought it up. All right, Eric, on to you now.
Yeah, I didn't really have much to say after I fucked up the name, so let's continue.
All right. Well, Garrett, you brought up a beat 'em up or hack and slash, whatever you want to call it. So, for my next one, I'll go with one of my favorite beat 'em up games, which is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers for the Super Nintendo. Uh, to me, what makes a good beat 'em up, a beat 'em up game is a really great stress release. They're usually not very difficult. Uh, the gameplay is relatively repetitive, but
It
it's just fun to
is.
go. It's just fun to go around beating the shit out of things.
Yeah, like
And
especially if you can well, sorry, I'm interrupting, but like on
no, go
Darksiders,
on.
you upgrade your skills and you get new skills throughout the game. So
Yeah, yeah. Some beat 'em ups do have stuff like that. This one doesn't really. There's
Yeah,
really not any upgrading, but
you really didn't see that much back in the day.
oh, you did. There were games like Knights of the Round and stuff like that that had
Oh,
elements like that.
Well,
But
Knights of the Round Knights of the Round you just leveled up and like looked cooler. Where
no, you.
Darksiders, I think you just like actually got skill points and shit, probably.
yeah, you got experience basically.
Same type of idea. But anyways, for the Power Rangers game, it was of course based on the early '90s TV show. And what do they do in the TV show? They go around beating the shit out of monsters, and that's basically what you do in the game. Um, I guess my only criticism towards it is one thing that kind of breaks up the monotony in beat 'em up games is if you have lots of different types of enemies to fight. This game didn't have a
Oh
lot
my
of that
god.
other than the bosses. The bosses were all really unique and really cool, but when you're going through the levels, you're mostly just fighting putties, the little foot soldiers
It's
from
putties
the
and
show.
like those light bulb floating robot things.
Yeah, random little fucking robot
Or like
enemies.
spinning blades and stuff.
Yeah, shit like that. But
Like,
Did the different Power Rangers get different abilities? Like, did Black
no.
have different?
no,
Blue?
yes, well, yes, they did actually. Um, there's two parts to each level. You begin the level playing as a human, and then when the final boss shows up, he kind of makes an appearance, and then you morph into a Power Ranger, and then you go through the second half of the level and fight the boss. So when you're a Power Ranger, all of the characters, the move sets are the same, but they all have different weapons. But when you're humans, you don't have a weapon, but your combos are all very, very different. Like for example, the Black Ranger, who was kind of a hip hop dancer and a break dancer in the show. He does stuff like do a handstand and kick people with both his legs and shit like that. So they did
Ooh,
they did kind of
fancy.
But what
give you
Garrett
some different.
what Garrett means is like, do they play differently? And like,
Yes,
no,
they do.
like, no. Like, you don't understand like modern
Yes,
beat
I
'em
understand
ups.
what you're saying. Yes, I know what you mean, Mike.
Like, they all have like a 3-hit combo, and they all do the same amount of damage. Like, there's no, yeah, they all like move differently, but all their frames are the same. Like, they are all essentially the same character. They just look different.
Well, it's
In other
it's a
newer,
halfway it's a halfway between the two extremes.
It's a development. It was in what? When was this made? 94?
Oh, probably earlier
it's
than
just
that.
like in like
Well, released in 94.
newer beat 'em ups, like all the characters like play completely differently.
Okay, I
And
understand,
that's what I
Michael.
just saying. Like, that's what Garrett was asking.
I mean, I was just wondering, kind of both, honestly. Eric, I think, did a fine job of answering, but.
But anyways, the final thing I'll say about that is the other cool thing is when you get to the very end of the game, the last couple bosses you fight as the Megazord, as the
Yeah,
giant robot from the show, and then it kind of takes you into almost like a
fighting
2D
game.
fighting game style when you fight the last two bosses.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna say that. Like, the game is like, it starts off really fun, but I know in like the last two levels, like the office building and then that like cave,
you kind of start getting a bit bored
tired of it.
because
Yeah.
yeah, but then they throw you something completely different at the end,
And
which
then
is
like,
cool.
yeah, no. So like the last couple of bosses being like those fighting things, and you have to let your special charge up.
Yeah.
Yeah, those fights are fun. That game is like, we used to rent it a lot, and I liked it as a kid, but I don't think it's something I'd really ever go back to.
Well, like I said, you got to be in the right mood for something
You gotta be
mindless, not
drunk
mashing.
right after you get off a 12-hour work day. After you come home, slap your wife a couple times, beat your kids, and then
I
you're
wonder if
ready
that ever
for
happened in like
it.
history. Like, was there anyone that
I'm
like
sure
came
it
home from
did.
work, abused his family, and was like, "I gotta play Mighty Morphin Power Rangers for the Super Nintendo."
I'm sure
I'm
it
in the
did, honestly.
mindset for
Yeah,
this now.
fucking putty, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
All
Anyways,
right.
Mike.
Oh, my turn.
Yes, send it
Oh,
to Michael.
okay. Which one do I want to bring up now? Let's talk about another game from our past. Well, mine and Eric's past. This game, we could never get far in it, and it used to always kick our asses. We could barely beat
Mm.
one boss, and then one day, as a young adult,
Say the damn name of the game.
wow, like, come on, I'm building it up. One day, as a young adult, I decided I was gonna beat it, and I did, and then I beat it again, and again, and again, and I just essentially started to develop my own courses or my own path for speed running, and yeah,
All right,
I
now
still
what's the game?
pop it in every once in a while.
What's the
Mega
game?
Man,
Damn it!
Mega Man X3. It is
Jesus.
my favorite Mega Man game of the whole franchise. I think it has the coolest uh, bosses. Like, and I've played all the Mega Mans, like Mega Man 1 to 10, all the X ones for the, or what are they called? I don't even remember, for the Game Boy Advance. But Mega
Mm.
Man X3, it just, I think it's because like we actually own that one. It was the only one that
Yeah.
we owned growing up, and we were just never good at it.
Well, the thing about Mega Man is you're supposed to like you have a bunch of bosses. I mean, I'm not sure if Garrett's familiar with it or not, but
I know that you're basically just a boy Samus.
kind of, I guess you could say that. But the thing about Mega Man is when the game starts, you can play the levels in any order that you want. But the thing is every boss, when you beat them, you get a weapon from them, and there's always a boss that's weak to another boss's weapon.
Yeah.
So you have to try and figure out the order to beat them in.
Yeah.
So because we didn't know that as kids, and this was pre-game facts and shit like that, we were basically screwed.
So he was just like the weakest boss overall, the one you can kill first. Like that guy.
Exactly.
They just need to take like the other bosses should have ganged up and killed him.
Well, and
so that
so
Mega Man couldn't power up.
in like Mega Man X, it's kind of clear like Chill Penguin is the one that you're supposed to start with, and you know it has like a power up directly in your way. Like you can't miss the power up. So it kind of seems like a first level compared to like the other animals that they pick for bosses, like a penguin, right? It's like the easiest one. Where X3, it's like it's not.
You've never seen Madagascar, Mike. Penguins will fuck you up.
It's not really that clear. I know that you know, I used to start with the Hornet, then I had a path where I started with Blizzard Buffalo, but my path now is I start with Tunnel Rhino.
You still play this game?
Yeah, I think I play. I think like I used to honestly beat it like 30 times a week, but now I'm like twice a year. If like my internet goes down, I'll pop it in and play it for a bit.
Well, you basically mastered that game.
Yeah, there was one time where like we were over at my brother's house with my family, like our sister and our mom, and I just was like, I just started to play it, and I was like making my mom watch me, and I was like, Mom, am I good? Am I good at it? And she's like, I don't know what's going on, but you seem to be really good at it.
You seem to be doing really
Doing
well.
well.
I think she said.
Yeah.
You seem to know what you're doing.
Because I'm just like dodging over shit and like, yeah. I love that game. It's such a good game. My favorite boss from it is the toxic seahorse. He just looks awesome.
I like the Neon
Sounds-
Tiger, but
Yeah. Neon.
to each his own.
We need to start
Oh, there
saying
you
Neon
go.
more in
Wow.
in our podcast. So we can be
Twice.
like, that's the word of the day.
no, no, we can't. No.
Yeah,
That's not
anytime
gonna
anyone
be a
says
thing.
neon, we just need to freak the fuck out.
No, I'm gonna veto that.
Alright,
Um,
well.
You know, I once had a girl get on my neon, but it wasn't quite my knee, if you know what I'm saying.
That didn't really.
Are we done? Are we done here?
Let's move on with Garrett.
All right. So my next game was recently announced to have a sequel coming up. D3 or whatever the fuck it was, Disney conference. Kingdom Hearts. This game, like, I don't know how to describe it. This game is my childhood. This game is my, like, basically going to middle school, into high school, and then college. There was no Kingdom Hearts because they're fucking pieces of shit.
Kingdom Hearts for so well. There's been
Okay.
off series, spin-offs,
Yeah, there's
but
been
no
spin-offs, but like they Disney, Squaresoft, whoever the fuck it was, milked the shit out of this game.
Yep.
Like they knew it had this fucking giant cult following. So like, you know what can make us more money? If we make a game for every single platform, including mobile phones.
Yeah.
That will make us some money. And I've just been really disappointed with like
Dude, Kingdom Hearts
the
2
publishers, the developers.
came out in 2006.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, it was.
2017.
I know it's been 11. Wait, yeah, 11
Yeah.
fucking years.
I was gonna
And
say,
we're
sorry.
just now getting the Kingdom Hearts 3 thing going on.
Yeah. No, like that trailer that just came out. There's like that part where Sora is like fighting that like huge like Heartless, and it's like breaking the ground and stuff. That gave me like
Oh,
actual chills.
And then there's that one time in the trailer, like Sora turns the Keyblade into like this bomb or some. It's so cool. Like so he's
drill.
like slamming the the drill.
Yeah.
That's what it was. He's slamming the ground with it and shit. Oh
Yeah.
my god, it looks so cool.
Well, I got to bring up because as somebody who never was into Kingdom Hearts, you guys have talked about this a few times now, and I'm sure it's a good game. But the thing that always kept me from getting into it when I was younger is I was like, I can't get behind fucking Goofy being like an action hero. You
Well,
know what I
I
mean?
know I know for me,
Because he's a fucking klutz in the game too. Like
yeah,
they add that into his personality. They even add the fucking goofiness
yeah,
into his abilities.
yeah. Like yeah, his abilities are really
Gosh.
goofy looking. I know for me, for a long time, I was like in high school, I was like, fucking Disney, like I don't want that in my SquareSoft game. But I just got like obsessed with like Final Fantasy VII and stuff, and I was like, all right, like I'll try Kingdom Hearts
Like
one. The thing that
Disney and Square
really,
Enix is when you finally like adding those two together is when you finally realize that chocolate and peanut butter belong together.
yeah, like the thing that really sold me on it is I went over to my friend's house and they were fighting the demon from Fantasia. Like
Oh, that big like vampire
thing.
mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just looking how epic that fight was, I was like, all right, I'm gonna get Kingdom Hearts because like it's like okay, like
Yeah.
there are some of the worlds are kind of lame, like Alice in Wonderland and like Peter Pan. They were just kind of like meh, but the serious parts and like that's what's kind of sucky is like the filler sucks, but like the serious, the actual like Kingdom Hearts storyline stuff is all really good. Like anything to do with the Organization 13, I'm just like a sucker for. Like I think they're all
Yeah.
like
It's
so cool. Like they all have those sweet black coats.
I mean it's Disney who gave us up a better love story in 15 seconds than Twilight was in
Ooh,
3 or 4 books, as the
In
meme goes.
in
memes.
fairness, that's not hard to do, but
Me and my right hand is a better love story than Twilight.
And Square Enix also they gave us all the Final Fantasies, all these great, wonderful story-based
Yeah,
games.
dude, seeing Cloud with that, like, I don't know, he's like kind of dressed like Vincent and he has like the
Yeah,
Buster
he's like
Sword and
kind of
bandages.
demonic with
Yeah,
his little tiny little bat wings.
yeah,
But yeah, Kingdom Hearts, it's such a good game.
yeah.
So excited for the Kingdom Hearts 3 to come out. I'm gonna need to like read up and watch some playthroughs to catch up on the story.
I think I'm actually going to like maybe replay them, but I think I'm gonna actually get an Xbox so I can get that and Killer Instinct.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a PlayStation for Kingdom Hearts unless it comes out on PC
No.
by some magical.
Yeah, that's.
mon-
I need to get a PlayStation because of Final Fantasy.
Oh
Oh
yeah, Final
well,
Fantasy
I
God,
guess you're
15,
gonna
I don't know what
have
to
to
do.
shell out some cash.
I don't know. Let's just move on.
Yeah. All right, Eric, number
All right,
3, sir.
I will bring up for number three. I'll continue with because Power Rangers was, of course, a licensed game, I guess, as Kingdom Hearts is as well. So for next one, I'm going to bring up Star Wars for the original NES,
Oh man,
which is a game
so
me and
good.
Mike both played a lot as kids. And a lot of times in the NES days, a lot of the licensed games were shit because they were just pumped out for money.
LGN.
There you go. But the Star Wars NES game developed by LucasArts was actually a great fucking game.
Yeah.
You had a lot of variety in it. You had stages that were, basically platform action stages with, laser shooting or later your lightsaber.
Pew pew.
You had the Death Star, which was basically a maze. And then you
So
had
this
different.
followed the actual story of Star
It did.
Wars.
Yeah.
It pretty much perfectly followed the story of the first movie. Like you start on Tatooine trying to find Ben, you then find Han at Mos Eisley, you go to the Death Star,
Wait,
you
wait, wait,
escape
wait,
it.
wait. The first movie is when they find Anakin in his space pod, racing pod.
Ah,
Ah.
but and then you even have different types of space shooter stages. Like when you're escaping the Death Star, you're a stationary turret on the Millennium Falcon shooting at the pursuing TIE fighters, like in the movie. Then for the final Death Star assault, you start in a first-person view fighting TIE fighters until you make it to the actual Death Star, and then you do the final trench run in a third-person view. So they did a really good job of following the story of the movie, giving you different styles of gameplay, and the music is fucking
Oh, the
fantastic.
music is like one of the best things. Like I always get those songs just in my head still.
Yeah, just really catchy tunes, I
So,
guess you'd say.
just a couple of things I want to say about that game is so there's an example of an early game and the characters playing completely different from each other. Like Han
True.
Solo is so different from Luke Skywalker. Like they run at different speeds, they have different attacks. Like
They fuck Leia differently.
Han's blaster is better and Luke has a lightsaber. And the other thing is I like that game a lot. I really don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's a little hard, but
It is.
one thing
But
that
most games back then were hard.
the
But
one
yeah,
thing
go
that I
on.
don't like is like so it's a platformer. But then it
In
like
part.
but then it throws at you like this really hard like shooting part with the spaceships, and as fun as that is to like kind of like mix it up, it's still just kind of like this. It's not like fair, like because then you die and then you have to get all the way back to just to practice this part again. Like if a game's like a platformer, it should just be a platformer.
Mostly I agree with you, but I think I don't know, for that game I appreciated them mixing it up a bit because they were trying to follow the movie, so it didn't
Yeah,
bother.
yeah, no, like and that's one of the things. It kind of only makes sense for Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's that one game that came out recently, Near Automata. It goes through like dozens of different like play styles. Like on one style, it feels like you're playing that old Atari game where you're the spaceship Galaga. Is that it?
Okay. Yep.
And then sometimes you're like playing a fucking platform, or sometimes you're in like an open world setting. So I watched a streamer play through it, and I was when I first started watching, I was like, oh, so this is like a side scroller. But then he's like, and then he's playing fucking Galaga, and then he's like just in an open world, and I thought it was a really cool concept. So
Yeah. What's the
Variety is
NES?
not necessarily bad.
What's the NES game like that? Like not Master
Guardian
Blaster?
Legend. Guardian Legend you're thinking of.
No.
I,
Or Blaster Master, that's kind of
Blaster
like that too.
Master. Yeah, where you get in and out of the ship and it's different kind of play styles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's been something that's been done for a while. But anyways, well, let's move on to your number 3, Mike.
Oh shit, we're only at number 3?
Yes,
Wow.
sir.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, let's go. Quick, boys. My next one is
yeah. Let's go quick, guys. Let's come on. Let's keep it
the
up,
next one I
Mike.
want to talk about is let's talk about this one. This is my favorite game of all time. I loved it since I saw the trailers for it in Blockbuster because they used to have trailers for video games playing on their TVs.
Disgusting.
Um,
Blockbuster.
it was a game that it's a sequel to a Super Nintendo RPG that's really loved, but the sequel, this game, Chrono Cross, the sequel to Chrono Trigger, is fucking hated. No one likes this game. They everyone complains about it, how it's like not really a sequel because it doesn't have the same characters, and yeah, it's a fair argument, but like as its own game, it's great.
Is it set in the same universe?
Yeah, it's set. It's not like you don't revisit locations, but it's on the same planet. It's basically like where Chrono Cross kind of took place, like in the northern part of the hemisphere. This takes place on like the southern part, so everything's really like tropical and islandy. Uh, like the theme of it's really good. It's for the PlayStation, and like everything looks like it's hand painted. Like it looks really nice. Another game for the
It doesn't have
PlayStation.
that it doesn't have that ugly early 3D look.
No, yeah, it looks really good for the PlayStation. I think it's like a late in the PlayStation library.
when they were using all them gigabytes to
Yeah.
power them colors.
Another game for the PlayStation that I guess I'll talk about another time is Legend of Mana, and like everything is like painted, and that game is like absolutely fucking beautiful. But Chrono Cross just has like a really in-depth story. There's something where you can recruit like 48 playable characters.
Yeah, we brought that up in a previous topic.
Yeah,
How does the most playable characters of any RPG?
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
just such an epic, and I don't like using that word, but it's a very epic story.
Is it one more
Um,
time? I'm sorry, I didn't catch it.
Epic.
Oh, epic.
It is
You could
just
just say purple,
purple.
because
uh,
wow, wow joke.
oh God, that was a wow joke for you, and then that was like an inside joke from our childhood for Eric. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't really want to talk too much about the story because it's super complicated and we're running out of time. But it's just a great RPG. One thing it did really nice is got it's really long, but it's not long because you have to grind, like a lot of RPGs, because it doesn't really have like a traditional leveling up system. Like basically, every time you beat a boss, you'll get a level up, like a big level up, and then like every so often during like after random battles, you'll just get a couple of stat increases. And then just basically it's a game where you never have to grind ever. And that's refreshing because a lot of those RPGs, as much as I love Final Fantasy, a lot of it is grinding. Or the late earlier ones is a lot of grinding. Anyways, Chrono Cross, favorite game of all time. It's beautiful.
It's not really that good though. All right, my next game
Motherfucker.
is Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain.
Because his arm's gone, and then
Oh
it's
my god, it
also
is.
it's also like metaphorically. I don't know. I'm just talking
Can you
shit.
explain what metaphor is? Anyway,
I prefer the porn version, Metal Penis Solid 5, the Phantom Vagina.
Did you make?
why is it a phantom vagina if it's got a metal penis? You think it'd be the,
Yeah.
the, the phantom limb, the
Well,
phantom
I guess
member?
like no, because like his dick is like feeling a phantom vagina.
There you go.
I'm,
Yeah.
Anyways, go
I
on.
don't know.
Go on.
All right, this game was created by Konami, and apparently Hideo Kojima has like they had trouble, so he left or something, and he's making his own game with that one guy from The Walking Dead. Can't remember his name, but anyway, Metal Gear Solid 5,
Yep.
basically like you sent on missions. You can play like an open world ish kind of feel.
Yeah.
But it's known for its stealth missions. Like, and I always like stealth missions because I try to see how far I can get into stealth. Because I know some people have these games like mapped out in their head, know exactly what to do, exactly when to do it. I play it, I play it once through, unless I fail, then I have to go back. But stealth missions are always fun because, you feel like, oh, I can do this. This is easy. You've got this strategy in your head. You're like, this is going to be fucking cake. And then it all goes fucking upside down and you end up
Mm.
dead.
You get
Um,
caught and you're like, fuck it,
yeah.
reset it, I got this.
And then you're like, you know what? I think I'm strong enough to just kill everyone. I can go loud. I mean, sometimes there's a couple games where you can't go loud, or a couple missions, and you lose as soon as someone sees you. But those ones are easier on the style, so that losers like me can play through them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, also got a great story. I know Eric, you're not one for story. It's also got great graphics, so if you're into that, it's
Eric's
also
Eric's definitely
it's
not
also
into great graphics either.
yeah, that's true. It's very difficult. Like if you want to like play a full stealth run with no kills. Like people play this game, stealth run, no kills, no lethal weapons.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, but yeah, it's super cool game. It's pretty customizable.
Self-imposed challenges, that type of thing.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty custom. Yeah, well, I guess yeah, the self-imposed challenges make it customizable as to how your character plays. You even get code names at the end of every mission based on your performance. Like, did you kill lots of people? Were you stealthy? I fucking I had to figure out how to get the bear code name.
Oh
So I
yeah.
just had to run missions like that, and it was like, don't be lethal, but knock a lot of people out or something.
Yeah.
So
I
I basically had to play like that.
just quickly before we move on, self-imposed challenges. The best one the one that I like the most, I guess that I watched was the guy that went through entirety of Dark Souls without taking any damage.
That just doesn't seem plausible. I don't know how that's possible.
It was insane.
Like,
He was
there's people
hacking.
in Fallout. There's people in Fallout that do that too. Like, they don't ever use a stim pack or
Yeah,
heal or
the what's
anything.
his YouTube is Many a True Nerd. I know this guy because I watch his stuff. He does Fallout runs where he never heals,
Like, that's
and
just.
it's insane.
I feel like at some point you're just ruining the game for yourself.
Yeah,
But anyway, Eric,
All
number
right.
4.
yeah. Let's go.
Uh,
We gotta go quick, bro.
well, I'm going to do a little bit of a change here on my pre-selected list. I'm going to toss one out and replace it with another because, as I was talking
That's
about,
not allowed.
as I was talking about Star Wars NES, I was reminded of another great Star Wars game, which was Star Wars Battlefront for the PS2.
We
Oh,
always
that
end
was
up
a
talking
great
about
game,
Star
actually.
Wars.
That one was so much fun. I actually played that
Yeah,
one. So.
and normally I'm not a fan. I'm not really a fan of FPSs at all, but I
It's
guess
third
because it was
person.
Star Wars and it was just such a well-designed game. That game is just so much fucking fun to get together with a buddy and you each pick a side, either Rebels or uh, Empire.
Always Empire.
Same. I would always want to be Empire.
Yeah, like, if you could choose between Sith and Jedi, what would you choose?
Well, I'd pick Jedi, but
Oh,
the
God,
Empire
you fucking
stormtroopers just look
squares.
so badass. Where like
They
the
do.
rebel forces have those goofy flat helmets.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like they walk around in like their brothers like hand-me-downs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they look so dumb.
But yeah, and then there was stuff like on on certain maps you can get control of an AT-AT or an ATST. Uh, so yeah, I don't know. I just had a lot of fun playing that game with friends in high school. Great party game.
I
You
think
guys
that
would
is
smoke some.
so
You guys go.
some mad reefer,
Oh, let's get some.
bro. Oh God,
Oh man,
420.
I call Yoda, bro.
Uh,
Battlefront is also Star Wars' best FPS to date because the most recent FPS Star Wars released was garbage.
what
Just
was
wanna-
what was wrong
Oh,
with it?
it's so.
It had like one map and like you could play one character.
And
Like
it was.
there was like no customized, like you couldn't do anything.
And there, like, yeah, there was
And
no jobs. Maybe there was jobs, but also it had a monthly subscription.
yeah, oh yeah, that was it too. Like you had to like I don't think it was a monthly subscription. I thought you had to like pay for extra maps. Like I know like Call of Duty and shit does that, but Call of Duty like starts out with a reasonable amount of maps. This game had like two maps. I only
Jesus.
remember even playing on one,
Yeah,
so
no,
like it was garbage.
it was way worse than the first Battlefront, and it had
Well,
a
Yeah,
fuck
monthly
that.
subscription thing.
You should just play Battlefront.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Why mess with perfection?
they're making a second one, and they're saying it's gonna
They're
be
saying
good.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're saying it's going to be
Yeah,
better,
but
but
everyone says every game's gonna be good. No one's like
Remains to be
released a
seen.
game
look
and been like,
look at No Man's Sky.
yeah, right? Like, yeah, like it's like no one's released a game and been like, don't play this, it's garbage, it's shit. No, it's like 10 out of 10. We made it, best game ever.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky.
Alright.
We should do an
Anyways.
episode on that. But yeah, let's continue.
Michael.
Uh, just trying to. Okay. Okay. My fourth is another indie game called Nuclear Throne. Uh, fuck. It was released a couple years ago, and
Probably like 2012.
I think it was finally released in 2014.
Okay, when did it debut on Steam? 2015 initial release date.
Oh, okay. Shit. So yeah, it I've been playing it on and off for a couple years now, and it's a retro style top down shooter. So it's supposed to look like a Super Nintendo game, and I just really like the idea of it. You pick from I think 9 characters, and they're all like different looking little mutants. There's like a fish, there's like a muscular guy, there's a plant, a robot,
Well,
there's
tell
a
the
gun
most
god.
notable tell the most notable feature of the game.
Well, it's a roguelike.
Yeah.
Roguelike top down shooter where you just go through levels just shooting up monsters or mutants. And yeah, it loops. Like you get to the throne, you beat the throne, and then it loops, and you just try to get as many points as possible. So it's very retro. It's like
Yeah,
Centipede.
but what makes it so unique though?
I don't I don't know what you're trying to get at. I don't know. Like
Isn't
What's
it
your
isn't it didn't you tell me this game was randomized that like every
yeah,
level?
roguelike. That's what that
Oh,
term
okay,
means.
okay.
Come on, no, Eric, you're so old. So old. I was like, I
Well, do you
already
think
described what it was.
half the audience probably doesn't know what the fuck that means either? So I'm
Everyone
just
should
saying
know what
explain it.
roguelike means. Anyways,
roguelike? It's just yeah,
yeah. So
dungeon crawl with.
you kill mutants and they drop.
Talking to your mic.
I am. Holy shit. You kill mutants, you get rads, and those rads level you up, and then you get like a choice out of 4 mutations, and it's not like so a lot of other roguelikes like the Binding of Isaac, you'll just get random items and then they have like synergies and stuff. This one is like, oh, like I'm playing as this character, so I need to take this mutation. Like you'll there's only a certain amount of mutations and some are better on some characters. So it adds a more strategic
Hmm.
play style. Um, that's why
Yep.
I liked it. Like with like other roguelikes, it's like, oh, I don't want to pick this item because this item's gonna break the, or like break my run and make me shit, or like they just kind of seemed less interesting to me. Where Nuclear Throne was enough randomizing, but enough solid strat to it, kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's a great game. It's like I think it's like $10 on Steam, so fucking go play it.
Mm, yeah, roguelites aren't fun.
Go play YV, the gun god.
Go play gun that other gun one, Gungeon, right?
Enter the
Isn't that one?
Gungeon. That
Yeah,
one's
Enter the
kind of
Gungeon.
dead because it really didn't have a lot of synergies.
Oh, I see.
They're
Uh,
trying. They're working on a huge patch for it apparently. That might make it relevant again, but like no one plays that anymore.
I see. I see. Well, it is my turn again. Um, this next game is my absolute favorite game of all time. Tried to get my friends to play it. No
Boogerman.
one will.
Let me guess, Undertale.
Fuck, you
Boogerman.
guys are so good at this. How can you guess? No,
See, I
it's
always thought Undertale was when you tucked your dick between your legs and duck walked around.
Jesus.
For,
But
for
anyways,
for side note, real quick, I tried to play this game, but I think my graphic card is too old at this point, and it was running like garbage.
Yeah, that's actually super disappointing. It's The Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt. Um, just holy shit. There's so much to do in this game. Has some of the most beautiful graphics I've ever seen in a game. The story is amazing, and the beginning at a certain point, once you get leveled up enough, the game gets kind of easy. But in the beginning, if you're playing on the hardest difficulty, it can be very difficult. And even later on, some of the boss fights can also like surprise you with their difficulty. But The Witcher, oh my god, it's one of the best games I've ever. Well, it is the best game I've ever played. Like you're this guy who is missing his adopted daughter. She's just been gone for
Lisa-esque.
a numerous amount of years, but she's been gone because she's this extremely powerful, like sorceress type person. Um, and there's people hunting her, basically the wild hunt. And so you're trying to look for her at the same time the wild hunt is looking for her. And the wild hunt is like seen as these like demons almost because they appear out of nowhere and entire villages will just be slaughtered by the wild hunt. And they're almost seen as mythical. Like a lot of people don't believe that they even exist. But yeah, it's
Is
just
it
Heresy.
a
is
great
it
game.
like a metaphor for the Crusades?
What do you wait?
No,
What is?
never mind. I don't know. I'm just trying to talk.
He's trying to sound smart and failing.
No, I'm
but-
not. I'm not trying to sound smart.
Mike never
I don't know.
sounds
Just like this wild hunt going from town to town, destroying towns. That's what the Crusades were.
I mean,
They were killing.
Well, that's what
fucking-
9 million different
but
things throughout history were. But
the wild
Oh,
hunt
okay,
has a
that's just
specific
what came to my
purpose.
mind. Yeah,
The
yeah.
wild hunt's looking for this girl.
So,
But
Witcher
anyway,
3 has magic, swords, monsters, and naked chicks.
yeah. So that's another thing I was just about to talk about. Like, so you meet a lot of different women because you're this witcher, this monster hunter that's pretty good looking. All the sorceresses want to say they slept with Geralt, and so you get into conversation
please sit
with them,
on my face.
basically. You get into conversation with them, and depending on how the conversation goes, almost Mass Effect. I think Mass Effect was one of the first games along with Fallout to like have conversation affect how the story can go.
Yeah.
Because certain players, or not players, certain characters can either like die and you'll never see them again, or you can have a conversation with them in a different way and they'll go and be saved or something. And even this game has, I think, 3 different endings depending on what you do throughout the game.
Yeah.
So it is absolutely fucking wonderful. They even made a standalone card game because there's a
Gwent.
card game inside the game called Gwent. Yeah, and they made a standalone Gwent game.
Like
But-
with physical cards or a
No.
computer game.
Computer game, Hearthstone.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
Hearthstone. But yeah, like this game, I've put I think 180, I think almost 200 hours into it, and
Jesus, you
that
could have learned a
was-
foreign language.
I could have, but this was much better. This was funner. This was easier than learning a foreign language. But yeah, this game was fucking amazing. Can't say enough good things about it. Won multiple Game of the Year awards, but we're short on time. We'll do a
Yeah.
whole episode about The Witcher later. But
Eric.
go ahead.
All
Eric.
right. For my last one, I'll talk briefly about my favorite RPG of all time, which is Lufia 2: Rise of the Sinistrals for
You didn't
Super
let me try to
Nintendo.
sneak in a joke one.
Which, oh shit, well, sorry. But we actually briefly talked about this in an earlier episode. A game that me and Mike were obsessed with as kids, and I didn't get until well into my 20s. Just a really great 16-bit RPG. Really good storyline, really good characters that all play differently. And there's a lot of uniqueness to that game. They added some elements like similar to a Zelda game. You're not just walking around getting into random battles. You have to solve some puzzles, and you got some things like a hook shot and bombs and arrows.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, they did puzzles better than Zelda games. Like, Zelda games, it's like, walk
Yeah.
into a room and shoot an eye with an arrow. Like, how is that a fucking puzzle? Or Lufia 2, I remember fucking, like, like the block ones where you have to like match
Yeah.
up the colors and make them disappear, like spending like hours.
And it was fun enough though that you were actually
Yeah.
motivated to do it.
And I
So
like that in RPGs where they split up just the fighting and talking with puzzles. I think most RPGs should have puzzles to it.
also there's a part in this game. One of the most notable things is an area called the Ancient Cave, which I don't know. I mean, I'm sure somebody will correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess you could say it's probably the earliest ever example of a roguelike because the Ancient Cave is a 99 level
It is a
dungeon.
roguelike.
Yeah, it's a 99 floor dungeon, and every single time you enter it, it's different. Which back in the day was something completely unique. Like this had, I don't think that had ever been done before.
It might
Uh,
actually be the first roguelike.
yeah. So the fact that this amazing fucking RPG with a great story and all these puzzle elements also may have invented roguelikes is fucking insane. So Lufia 2,
It
very great underrated game.
it very is underrated. Like it has so much going to it. It has like a side mechanic where you level up your characters and equip them with stuff.
Oh yeah, I
And
forgot.
they have magic spells, and then when they take damage they get a bar, and then you can use like your items that you have equipped to kind of use like a limit break, and each item has a different uh like unique ability to it. So that's insane. But then
Yep,
also there's things called capsule monsters that you feed. They fight with you. You don't choose what they do. They'll have
they
different
fight on their
elements.
own.
They fight with you.
Yep.
They fight on their own, and you give them your old armor and weapons to level them up and make them like evolve into stronger monsters.
And that was pre Pokemon as well. So
Like it
I don't know. That game had so much fucking going into it.
Yeah, the game just has so much to it. Plus, it's just an amazing story. So yeah, Lufia 2, fucking great game.
Yep. All right, let's finish up with your last one, Mike.
So my last game that I wanted to talk about was a game that kind of getting love. It is getting love more and more because people are discovering that it is really good. But I remember growing up, everyone hated it. I remember going to message boards and people just talking shit about it. But Secret of Evermore.
I'm
Uh,
still on those message boards and I'm still talking shit about it.
it's a RPG. It's a top-down RPG, like Secret of Mana. It's actually, I think it's, yeah, it's got to be the same fucking. Oh my god, what is it called?
I
Same,
don't know.
same.
Uh,
It is not an entry in the Mana series.
it's not a Mana game, but like the same.
Style,
Yeah, like they use the same system to make the
mechanics.
game
Yeah.
mechanics. It's just basically a reskin Mana. What? I can't believe I'm having such a mind fart. What is it called? Like, oh my god, we're running out of time. It's just more pressure.
Doesn't matter. It's just go.
Like Unreal Engine. What is that called?
Oh, like the engine basically, like the
Yeah, it's
video.
like it's basically the same engine was used to make the game. Oh my god. So, but I always liked it more than Mana, because okay, it's not my favorite top-down RPG, but probably my second favorite. Um, but yeah, it's just such a good game. It's where I got my namesake from. The first boss is Thrax. That's what that little icon is in our thumbnail.
Some deep lore.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I always liked that character. Just like that first scene where you're walking through this like swamp, and you walk into this giant crust of a bug, and then in the middle of it there's like this giant heart bug thing, and you're just like, it was just so epic as a kid.
Or it's just
Um,
like a small little town, like in Podunk, America.
yeah. Are you on the wiki? Yeah. So yeah, you play as a kid, right? Like you play as I think he's like 14 or 15. He has his dog with him. He gets sucked into this magical world. That game. get 3 different weapon types, not including the bazooka, sword, axe, and spears. They all play different. Instead of having mana and just casting spells, you use your dog, and you can also buy them, but you use your dog to sniff out ingredients for alchemy spells. And I always thought that was really cool. That, like, yeah, you're just using alchemy instead of magic. It's just a cool idea.
In The Witcher, you can use alchemy too.
Yeah, it's just a fun game, and like for a long time, like people hated it because it wasn't mana, but I think people are getting over it. It's been run a couple times for ADGQ.
It's what they call a sleeper hit.
Yeah, the speed running convention, whatever, charity event that happens twice a year. So they've run Evermore a couple times, and I think people are just starting to realize that it's actually a really good game.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a reskinned mana. So if you actually want to play a good game, just go play Secrets of Mana.
Well, if you want to play a good mana game, there's better ones. Final Fantasy Adventure is better. Seiken Netsu 3 is probably my favorite top-down fighter.
That's enough. I was just making a joke, Mike.
Which is Secret
That's
of Mana
enough.
2, and then Legend of Mana, which I previously
thanks for
talked
joining
about.
us tonight. I hope you enjoyed our 5
Wait,
games
is it over?
we talked about.
Oh my
yeah,
God,
you're
that
number
is
5.
Wow. Yeah, like Garrett was just saying, I hope you enjoyed it. I think it was a pretty good episode, right, boys?
It could have been better, but you guys just can't live up to my expectations.
I think that's true for a lot of people and a lot of people.
All right, thanks for being here.
We love you.
See you next time.
Goodbye.